Greetings, Lego friends. Thought we'd talk today a little bit about your Blinky bricks. So yeah, I've pretty much decided from this point on that I'm going to light all my modulars mostly with Blinky bricks. And most importantly, using the wireless connectors right here, because then you can take off your top floor, or each floor, and not have to worry about any wires coming apart, because you got your connectors right there. Lock it. That makes contact with that one, and bingo, you got your lights. And then I'll tell you a couple of tips here with these Blinky bricks. There are a couple things to keep in mind that they don't tell you. That's just good to know. First off, let's look at Blinky bricks order I just placed here recently. So that's another thing. The reason I decided to make this, you might be wondering, like I was, what would I want to order to light up one floor in a modular building, right? So there are lots of options. And when I started, I actually almost made a mistake. In a way I did. I ordered thinking from each floor I would have a USB connection. I was just thinking that'll be easiest. And then I will have a big hub that will take all of those USBs. And you can see I've got 3 floors on my hospital, and I've got 3 USBs, right? So this last order, I realized I don't have to do that. I could make it simpler, because each of these USBs has a connector there that I added to make them USB. But what Blinky Bricks offers is this power brick. You can hook up 11 lights, and then one of your connectors, the 12th, will then be your USB, which you can run into a power source. So this way, you know, I realized I could have 2 modulars side by side. I've got an ambulance and a chopper. I could run them all down into this one power brick and then run this USB out to my power source. So that's what I'm going to do going forward. And just some kind of a silly thing to notice about Blinky bricks. If you place your first order, you're going to get a bag like this. And of course, naturally, the first time I got one, I started ripping this apart and taking out the staples. And didn't realize that every bag has a little tearaway resealable flap right there. Kind of a silly thing, but good to know. So you can reuse that bag. You don't have to tear it all apart. And then these, I just bought some USB extensions for length. They are actually Ziplocs. So I will tear this out of there and take off the staples. But that's because it's a Ziploc bag. So let's talk about what you'd want to use to power up one floor of a modular. It's really pretty simple and fairly inexpensive. So I've decided, again, thinking about the cost, to just use 2 light bars per floor. You know, ideally, you probably want 4 of these to really light up your floor, right? But I'm just going with 2. So in this case, to light up a whole floor, what you would want is 1 light bar that has 1 wire. And then you'd want 1 light bar that has 2 wires. And it doesn't say 2-wire on it, but when you go to Blinky Bricks and you go and look at these in the DIY section, I think it is, you're going to see a drop down for 1-wire or 2-wire. And the reason is you're going to want one that connects to your wireless connector. This guy, you're going to want one that goes to that. And then the other side of it's going to go to your final row of lights, your final bar on your roof. So if you were going to do 4 light bars, you'd want 3 bars that have 2 wire, right? So you can link them together. And then your last one, you don't need another wire coming out of it. You just need that 1 wire, right? So I've done that kind of scenario here. Table's a bit of a mess, but yeah, so there is my wireless connector. Right? Let's assume we've got this on our ceiling and on our wall. And then I brought it out to this power block with a USB. And I've got my 1 bar and I've got my 2nd bar. And these will be up inside my modular, right? That's really all you need to light up a whole floor. Then these guys will meet together and kapow, you got your lights, right? Simple enough. And again, you can add as many as you want if you get 2 wire bars. Now the nice thing is these bars are fairly inexpensive. They're less than $2 a piece. Then what you're really paying for, of course, is the wireless connector, which comes with both. You'll need for top and bottom. One goes on your wall, one goes on your ceiling. These are about $8 US, about $7.99, right? But if you look at all that, that's pretty good. You can light up the whole floor of a modular for about $12, maybe a little more. Again, I would recommend getting this power block because now you can hook up 11 connectors into this block, and then you only need one connector that has your USB right there. Okay, then let's talk about a couple things that I learned while playing with these, because the complaints are, the downside of them are that, hey, they don't connect really well when I put the floor, you know, the roof on top of my floor and my wall. And it creates a bit of a gap there because one of the wires, like this one, when I set it in, is getting squished right here where the wire comes through, right? So this is an easy fix. I'll show you this one first. So with this here, just get yourself a set of Modular's files, right? Real cheap. Probably get them at like Hobbytown. Pull out a file. Take this flat right here. Get the wire out of the way. And just file a nice little groove somewhere in the middle with your file. I haven't done this one yet, so we'll get it started. Just want to make sure you're not filing the wire. But that's all there is to it. Just file yourself kind of a little tunnel, right, for the wire. So when this thing sticks, when you put it down, that's not completely done, but you can see there, you'll make a little tunnel there for the wire. And now when you put this down, it will sit perfectly flat. The only sort of connection you'll have that might keep things from being perfectly flat along your wall and your roof are these 2 connectors. And, you know, they got to go together. So, you know, you can't really do anything about that. You want those together. And I don't mind the way it looks at the back of my hospital, and I'll show you how that looks. So the other thing I want to show you then, the other thing to think about with any wireless connectors, and at least this is the way it is with Blinky bricks. Here's what I did. To avoid that intermittent connection, just put your connectors for your ceiling, your roof, on either side of your wireless connector. That will hold that down positively there and make a good connection right there. And then you won't have that intermittent flashing light on and off. It's got to make a good solid connection there. I'm sure there's other ways you can make that more solid, but this is the way I've done it. I've just put my 1x4 but 2 stud on top connectors for my ceiling on each side of my Blinky bricks wire connector. And now you can see a little bit from the back there how that looks. It looks pretty good. This bottom floor doesn't have the wireless connector, I don't think. Yeah, so I'm probably going to change this bottom floor to a Blinky brick setup because it's just got lights that are mounted to the walls instead of the ceiling. So I'm probably going to change that. But yeah, there's that one right there for this roof part. Very good. And again, there is the connector there. Very good, eh? Pretty simple and not too expensive. That's what's nice about it. So that's how you use your Blinky bricks for your modulars. So I just put in another order and I just got another little pile. I got 4 more of the wireless connectors and then 4 more bars, a couple of 1-wire and a couple of 2-wire. So that will take care of 2 floors for me. Yeah, and I'll still have 2 more of the wireless connectors available. Yeah, so pretty exciting. And I do think that this power brick is the way to go. Because in the hospital, I'm going to have 3 floors, plus the ambulance, plus the chopper, and then probably a modular next to it with lighting going into that. So that's it, folks. Little update on how I'm using Blinky bricks to light up my modulars. I hope that's helpful. If you have some suggestions, something to add about that, if you found another wireless connector you like, would love to hear about it, but I'm really happy with these from Blinky bricks. So I hope you all are having a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you on the next one.